needs to change. Did you change? This is good.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة. من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد واهتدى. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. Imagine a soccer field without a goal post. The players will be running around without knowing which direction they have to kick. Everyone will be confused, the audience, the players. The same scenario is with our life if we do not have a goal. We will be running around day and night with utter confusion, anxiety and frustration. So a long-term goal is important to give us energy, motivation and clarity in life. The goal gives us commitment, concentration and consistency in life. Quran has given us a clear long-term goal, reaching His Jannah in hereafter. And Quran calls it a great success, Fawzul Azim. And that is the topic of my today's talk. What is Jannah? Most of the Muslims today have very vague idea about Jannah. How can you reach a goal if there is no clarity about goal? When we encounter descriptions about Jannah in Quran, we interpret them through our worldly desires and needs. So, since we do not have the understanding of the basic facts underlying these descriptions, we end up in a distorted and incomplete view of Jannah. What are those basic facts that we need to understand in order to clarify our goal of Jannah? Number one, we need to understand the basic scheme upon which this life has been created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And number two, we need to understand the human personality, its inner core dimensions and its outer animalistic body and form. And number three, we must know this fact that the events and things that are going to happen in hereafter cannot be grasped with its full reality with the words and languages that originate from human experience. Since humans have not experienced those things and events, it is hard for them to realize their true reality. Allah has given description about Jannah to the extent that humans can relate. For example, if someone has somehow knowledge of electric bulb 1,000 years ago, and that person wants to explain to another person at that age about that electric bulb, how he is going to explain? Perhaps he is going to say that this is a lamp in which we don't put any oil, or this is a lamp that cannot be lit by a fire, but it is still going to give light. Now, can that person who is being explained about electric bulb can really get the reality of electric bulb? Perhaps that person can understand that this is something which is going to give us light, but he will not get the reality of electric bulb. So the same things are about what is going to happen in hereafter, and in Jannah we cannot get the reality. We can understand it, but we cannot grasp the reality of those things. So Allah has mentioned, فَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ مَا أُخْفِيَ لَهُمْ مِنْ قُرَّةِ أَعْيُنٍ جَزَاءً بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. No one knows what bliss has been kept hidden for him as a reward for his deeds. The Prophet ﷺ said, no eyes have seen, ears have not heard, and never has any person been able to experience. But a comprehensive definition that we can relate and understand is وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَشْتَهِي أَنفُسُكُمْ. That whatever we want, we can get there. Another comprehensive definition of Jannah is وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. So let's go back to the first fact that we need to understand the scheme of Allah for this life. We know this world and life is temporary. About this known universe, even the scientists have now no ways of refuting that this known world is going to end. But to acquire the knowledge of death, one does not have to be Einstein. Every person knows that he is going to die. A person can deny the existence of Allah but cannot deny the existence of death. So from our known facts, we can extrapolate the unknown. And that is a simple mathematical equations, simple mathematical phenomena we practice every day. Living in this temporary world with finite resources, we have a desire to live forever with infinite resources. This extrapolation is confirmed by Quran, which is the most authentic way of human knowledge revealed through Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is known by Sadiq and Amin by everyone who knows him in his surrounding. So Allah has created an abadi universe, never-ending universe, and for which He is selecting the right candidate among us. For human, this life is a test, an examination hall, and his performance will determine the status of next life. This is simple scheme of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we don't understand this scheme, we will not be able to understand Jannah. The second fact, the human inner dimensions, which are basically three. First, the human intellect, the ability to reason, conclude, grasp, and comprehend. You give him principles, and based on those principles, he can lay down details and technology. You give him details, and he can reach the principles. That's why the Greek philosophers, when they wanted to define humans, they said, Hawane Natiq, somebody who can think and do intellectual activity. The second trait of his personality is his consciousness about good and evil. Even the atheists, they have ethical principles. Even a person who is the most immoral person on earth does not want to be cheated, doesn't want to be lied to, doesn't want to be exploited. So this is inside the human, the inner dimension that the humans have a conscious of good and evil. The third trait for humans is his ability to appreciate beauty. All manifestations of arts and poetry, they have emanated from this extraordinary ability of humans, appreciate beauty. The beautiful faces fascinate us. He gets mesmerized by the amazing beauty of environment. He uses the words to magnify the beauty of ideas, persons, and scenery. So these three traits, they are confined in a person in the physical form, the animal shape that has its own needs and requirements. Now these needs and requirements of the animal form, they overwhelm us. And preoccupation of these needs take us away from acting upon the deen and religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So who will go to Jannah? This physical form or the inner dimensions? Well, this physical form, our body, that keeps us away from deen, most of the time, is part of this mortal life and will be dissolved here at the time of death. We will be given different bodies. Those bodies will be flawless. But the inner dimension and inner core of humans will remain the same. That is the second fact we have to understand. Now, if we don't understand these three facts, we will struggle to get the right comprehension of our goal of Jannah. So if the intellectual capabilities will remain the same, what is the difference between here and there? Today, from our knowledge of neurosciences and psychology, we know that the main impediment, obstruction and obstacle in the way of our intellect are two factors. One is the burden of our past experience, shame, guilt, unpleasantness. Whatever happened the moment before this moment accumulates in our brain and affects our this moment. And the other factor is fear of future. Apprehension about what is going to happen, financially or emotionally or anything in relations. So our every moment is affected by these two factors. We cannot utilize the full potential of our aql, our intellect, because of these. These are the brakes in the way of our intellect. What will happen in Jannah? The aql will remain the same, but it will be freed from these shackles. وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. The sword of death will not be hanging on our heads, and we will have infinite possibilities with our intellect, the same intellect. That is Jannah. What about our morality? Conscious of good and evil. In Jannah, our hearts will be cleansed from envy and malice. We will not hear any idle talk and false accusation. Among the children and parents, whoever is at higher level of Jannah will be able to bring the other to that level, so that they can continue to have in that same relations. And what about the capability of appreciating beauty? That will be maximized by the beauty there and environment. إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا. May Allah make us capable of getting this Jannah. Forgive our shortcomings. Help us lead a life that is directed towards Jannah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد بعدد من صلى وصام. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد بعدد من قعد وقام. اللهم صل على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى سائر الصحابة والتابعين وعلى عبادك الصالحين. So getting this Jannah is our long-term goal. Let's make our short-term goal in our daily life that reflects our long-term goal. Let's mature these three dimensions, because they are going to go in Jannah. Our intellect, our morality, and appreciation of beauty. Not everyone has the same proportion of these three things. Some people have one more than the other. Let's focus what is in me is more. And how can we know it? Think about if all the needs are taken care of, what will be your passion? Focus on that passion. Mature, recognize these properties and mature them, polish them. Maybe you want to help others. Maybe you want to conquer galaxies. Maybe your passion is to appreciate beauty and beauty of nature. So whatever is the passion, focus on it. Number two, let's trust and have iman in Allah and His Messenger's words. That's a very important thing. And whenever the animalistic desires overwhelm us, let's think about Jannah. Use the weapon of sabr and delaying our gratification. But don't ignore this animal body. Even though it is just a carrier of real us, it has its own importance. You don't want to have a slow and inefficient vehicle when you are traveling. You want a very efficient vehicle. Keep it sharp, keep it strong and clean. Make sure you put the right fuel in it, pure and tayyib food, and right thoughts and emotions. Your intellect can be sharpened with ibadat. Ibadat are the means to sharpen our intellectual capabilities. Salat, Hajj, Siyam, Zakat, they will lead us to that required purity. Now the main obstruction in the way of deen are our animalistic desires and needs, especially for men. Very rarely for women. You see that they are staying away from deen because of the animalistic desires. That's why we see in Quran, those are mentioned little with more emphasis. And it looks like Jannat is for men. That's not the case. It's just a language issue, because in Arabic language, when something is mentioned for both genders, the gender, masculine gender is used. But for men especially, things are mentioned because those are the people, part of the humanity, that stay away from deen because of these desires. And we can see how Allah has mentioned, فَوَقَاهُمُ اللَّهُ شَرَّ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ وَلَقَّاهُمْ نَظْرَةً وَسُرُورًا وَجَزَاهُمْ بِمَا صَبَرُوا جَنَّةً وَحَرِيرًا مُتَّكِئِينَ فِيهَا عَلَى الْأَرَائِكِ. And we can see continuity of this description, these description of Jannah all over Quran. At least once a day, we have to think about our long-term goal and plan for the day, and ideally we should write down our short-term goal. So whatever it is, connect it with the long-term goal. And then have dialogues with this long-term goal, with this Jannah to your children and spouses. A very important thing is that we have to think about what we can do to get this Jannah. Is it just ibadat will be enough to purify us? We have to think around. Not only we have to have connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to have the right relation with the rest of the humanity. And among them, the Muslims are the most important part of the humanity. Today, we have to see that this Jannah we will get. We cannot keep silent and be just a passive, pious Muslim and then become a candidate for Jannah. We have to make an effort to see that in the world there is no oppression and persecution. And wherever that persecution and oppression is being held, we have to stand against it. Whether Muslims or non-Muslims, whether it's South America or South Africa, whether it's Asia or West, wherever there is oppression, we have to stand against it. And this is very important, as famous poet in subcontinent has said, ये शहादत गहे उल्फत में कदम रखना है, लोग आसान समझते हैं मुसलमान होना. This verse is actually the translation of Quranic ayah, a poetic translation. Am hasibtum an tadkhulul jannata walamma ya'tikum masalul ladhina khalaw min qablikum مستهم البأساء والضراء وزلزلوا حتى يقول الرسول والذين آمنوا معه متى نصر الله ألا إن نصر الله قريب. Today we see what is happening around the world, especially in the Muslim world. All those issues are not really Muslim issues. We have to know the real Muslim issue is to be a good Muslim, to be organized, to look at our internal problems. But those issues in Palestine, in Chechnya, in Yemen, in Kashmir, in Burma, in China are not Muslim issues, they are human issues. They are human violation issues, and that's how we should be talking about them. If we keep silent ourselves and we don't do anything, we will be part of that oppression. As Plato said, that staying silent is like giving consent. So, if things are not in our control because of our dictators and because of the corrupt leaders in the Muslim world, and we don't do anything about them, that's okay. But something we can do and we don't do it, that is a crime. So we have to stand up against oppression. We shouldn't be fearful for anything. Jannah we cannot get just by doing a passive, pious Muslim. Now Kashmir is a special area, unique issue of human violations. Because in all other parts, there is no elected government who is standing behind it in a legitimate way. But in Kashmir, there is a legitimate elected government is standing behind that. So this is a unique chance, especially for the people living in the West. Because the Western people, they can understand the language of human violation. So now we can protest. We can at least stand up. So on this coming Friday, 27th September, there is a protest in front of United Nations Assembly where the person from India, a representative of RSS, not of India. India has very good and enlightened people. But then there is a fascist person coming there and making a speech, at least we can stand there. And if a Pakistani stands there, that may not be that impactful. But if an Arab, a Turk, a Guyanese, an African American, a Bengali, a person who is not Muslim is standing there, that is going to carry the message to the rest of the world. Because for the United Nations Annual Assembly, all the cameras are going to be there. So we can really register. This moment will not come again. We can do protest on our own, we can talk about all the things, but this moment we should not lose. Who knows that that can be the starting point for Muslims to organize themselves. The Muslims to be united, the Muslims to look at themselves critically. So may Allah give us tawfiq to understand what is going on in the Muslim world and the human world. Humanity is at this time thirsty for the leadership by Muslims. By registering our protest, we can literally show them the leadership. You don't need the government and political leaders. An ordinary person, a sick person on a wheelchair, a child, a woman who are coming there, they are more important. They will show more impact to the rest of the world. So may Allah give us tawfiq to understand these and take our time and our resources and be there on the day 27th September, Friday in front of United Nations. آمين. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم، ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأولى وأعز وأجل وأتم وأهم وأكبر. Let's pray.
الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
استووا استقيموا واعتدلوا، سووا صفوفكم وسدوا الخلل. Please straighten the lines and close the gaps. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. أم حسبتم أن تتركوا ولما يأتكم مثل الذين خلوا من قبلكم مستهم البأساء والضراء وزلزلوا حتى يقول الرسول والذين آمنوا معه متى نصر الله. ألا إن نصر الله قريب. يسألونك ماذا ينفقون، قل ما أنفقتم من خير فللوالدين والأقربين واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل، وما تفعلوا من خير فإن الله به عليم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا وأصحاب اليمين ما أصحاب اليمين في سدر مخضود وطلح ممدود وظل ممدود وماء مسكوب وفاكهة كثيرة لا مقطوعة ولا ممنوعة وفرش مرفوعة إنا أنشأناهن فجعلناهن أبكارا عربا أترابا لأصحاب اليمين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Saab, for explaining. If you don't say anything against the oppressor and whatever is going on around the world, it means you are nodding and you are part of that too, and you giving green light to all those who are oppressing. And while our volunteers are working for the demonstration, arranging all the buses and everything, in the meantime, we need more people, more volunteers, and Dr. Hafiz Saab has a few words. We will let you know how we are preparing. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. The moment has come. The moment has come where we cannot stay quiet. The moment has come where silence is accepting Modi. This Modi, who was not given a visa for 10 years to enter America because he killed thousands of Muslims when he was the chief minister of Gujarat. Today he is here. He is going to have a rally in Houston. And our own president is planning to go there and support him. That's a shame. We in our hearts must condemn what is happening in Kashmir. It is our duty to stand for our sisters. It is our duty to stand for our children. And of course, it's our duty to stand for our brothers and men too. And we must make a noise. And the noise should be so loud that Modi can hear it inside the United Nations building. Say inshallah. This is going to be a peaceful rally. No sticks, no metal pieces, no chairs, no umbrellas. It's going to be peaceful. It's going to be organized. We are going to put our best foot forward so that people know. Now, listen to this. We are not the only ones who will be demonstrating. The Indians will be demonstrating. And they are trying to get a bigger number than us. The Sikhs are going to be demonstrating. The Buddhists are going to be demonstrating. People for environment are going to be demonstrating. So it's going to be a large crowd there. Our buses, and all these buses have been paid for by friends, make dua for them, will leave here at 7:30 a.m. next Friday. I'm requesting everybody join us here at 7 o'clock. Breakfast will be given. And then we will be in the buses by 7:30. Every single mosque from Suffolk and Nassau has buses going. So we will be having close to maybe 40, 50 buses, inshallah. And there are people who are going on their own. And there are people who are going on the trains. And there are people who are coming from tri-state area. And there are people who are coming from Washington, D.C. People are coming from Virginia. People are coming from as far as Ohio in buses. So it's going to be a nightmare traffic situation. Our buses will be parked on 11th Avenue. And we are cooperating with the New York City police, listening to them because they know it best. And from there, we will be taking the subway to Grand Central Station. And then in a procession, which the whole world will see, placards telling what Kashmir is seeing, placards telling what the rape is going on there. We will walk peacefully to Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza. Juma prayers will be there. If you want to take a sheet, please do. If you want to take a janimaz, please do. Otherwise, we will use our own placards to put our head on and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you must be here in time on that day. Volunteers are very important. Each bus will have a captain. Give your name to the president if you want to be a captain of the bus. And we need 2 volunteers in each bus. Water will be provided, snacks will be provided. We'll need those volunteers to help the captain. So we'll have 4 buses here, we'll need 4 captains, and we'll need 8 volunteers. And then we will need security volunteers. You'll be given special jerseys. It will be clearly marked. You are helping with the security at the place of the demonstration. Give those names, especially the young people, especially the strong. I volunteered, but they rejected me and said, no gray beard person. So, but I'll be going there. So we need those names to be given to the president. And of course, we are still registering. If you haven't registered online, or if you haven't registered with us here, please register. And if you have registered, tell us, are you bringing your wife, are you bringing your children? Because most of the time it's one name, and if 3 people show up, we'll have problem. So we want to be organized, right? Okay, are you all with me? We all gonna go? Inshallah. And we'll pray to Allah that this effort makes a difference for our brothers, for our sisters, for our children in Kashmir and anywhere else in the world where there is being suppressed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
MashaAllah. Thank you, Dr. Saab. We're going to have 1,000 of people over there, and there is Hafiz Saab making some announcement. Thank you.
Announcement. We'll make dua only for our brothers, our elderly brother Chaudhry Muhammad Nazir. Just 1 week ago he passed away. We'll make dua for him. And all those brothers, sisters who passed away, who are sick, not feeling, we'll make dua for all. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, al-akhiratu lil-muttaqeen, was-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulih Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وانثانا. اللهم من احييته منا فاحيه على الاسلام، ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الايمان. اللهم اغفر لجميع المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الاحياء منهم والاموات. اللهم رب الناس اذهب البأس واشف انت الشافي، لا شفاء الا شفاؤك شفاء لا يغادر سقما. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى اله وصحبه اجمعين.
Thank you.
God bless you. I wish I could do use of the gospel.